So the next piece of the nervous system, a fun one, is brainwaves. We may have all familiarized ourselves with this notion of these harmonic frequencies in the brain, and there's this process of our synapses, or the little cells in our brain, firing electrochemical responses, and as they do it in unison, this electrical firing of voltages in increasing amounts leads to the frequency of the brainwaves. And this is measured in the laboratory using an EEG or other tools. And as the brain goes through these various states of harmonic resonance, there's different qualities to the experience of our awareness. And we go through these states every day throughout waking life and sleeping. And mainly we have delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. Those are our 5 main states. So delta being largely unconscious, what we experience in deep sleep, not usually an experience of being awake necessarily, more an unconscious state. And this is the lowest state, the lowest sort of frequency. And theta being the next state, this is when as children, or as babies grow into children and then adults, babies are often in this delta stage, and then eventually move into theta. And theta is what we experience when we're sleeping, when we're deeply relaxed. It's the space of REM sleep and dreams, also deep meditation, deep relaxation. This is a space of profound healing within the body, and it's a state that in meditation can be experienced on a regular basis, and sort of this experience of having the body be asleep while the mind is awake, and that being a very beneficial experience for consciously transforming our mind and our body and our life. As we are in normal relaxation, perhaps just laying down or sitting, not entirely focused on anything in particular. I think of watching palm trees blowing in the wind, something like that. We're in this relaxed alpha state of brainwaves where we're aware of what's going on, but there's not a whole lot of engagement with the outside world. This is a state that many children, or that children go through as they develop into perhaps the teenage years, when there's then the average state for most of us that we enter into waking life is beta, and the beta state is normal waking awareness, this process of interacting and engaging with the world and having conscious thoughts and being fully connected to the world around us. Beta is normal waking awareness. And then gamma is, when it's harmonic, it's the state of peak experiences, higher states of consciousness, something that perhaps not everyone enters into on a regular basis, but is capable of, and that this is a place of deep harmonic resonance. Picture many, many regions of the brain, perhaps more than normal, resonating with large amounts of frequency, large amounts of connection. And as the entire brain develops this harmonic resonance with greater flow, then we enter that state of gamma waves. And on that note, there's again this notion to label things as one thing or the other, and to recognize that in an individual, we're all here experiencing life in different ways, and at the same time it is all life. Like, life is life and we are experiencing it no matter who we are, and that these states are all accessible to all of us with the correct practice and training, etc. And when we develop the awareness that we are going through these states all the time, and perhaps when we're tuned into them in a less formal way than, say, sitting in meditation, I'm going to go from my waking beta state into my relaxed alpha state, and then into a deep relaxed theta state, and I will then transcend from this subconscious state into my higher state of consciousness in gamma waves. That, yes, that is actually what happens. That is what we can do. And at the same time, it's a gradual thing. It's something that over time you can experiment and enjoy, rather than it needing to be something that is forced or is overly, technical in that sense. And there is technique and there is this process, and at the same time, keeping yourself relaxed is more important than focusing on that minutia of what I just described. And so as you practice, you'll appreciate, and as you appreciate, you'll develop that greater understanding. So rather than just talking about it or feeling, it's really the direct experience of this is what's going on, and it at one level doesn't really matter what you call it. It's just that's what's happening. So at the same time, it is helpful to have a map to say, this is where I am and this is where I'd like to go. So that's the purpose.